he's on her team. Like,
yeah.
and just hearing that sounded so weird to me. I was just like, she was able to tell you that and you didn't punch her in the face? Because how many people can have a brown dad and tell them about, like, the guys they like? I got 10 years to fill a stadium, but only 2 minutes to fill your cranium. Humble the poet, signing in. So, to start off, if you are currently cheating on somebody, it's not good for you because you're probably carrying a lot of stress and trying to live this double life, and you're just gonna kill yourself. Have a conversation with somebody. I don't know who you need to have a conversation with, but have a conversation with the person that you're cheating on. Figure out why you're doing it, and as somebody who's been there, the best thing to do is have a conversation, because if you have a conversation, you'll start to realize that you might not be cheating for the reasons people think you're cheating. You're doing it to escape a whole different other problem.
Yeah.
So obviously when you're young, you have idealistic ideas. This is how it should be, this is how I'm going to be, and then real life punches you in the face and you're like, crap, it's gonna be different. Idealisms only exist when you don't pay attention. So probably the whole essence of Humble the Poet is to make people pay attention to the other stuff.
Yeah.
So cheating is a good one, because cheating, people look at it as a black and white situation where they're like, somebody who cheats is bad, the person who got cheated on is the victim, and that's it. It's a no-brainer. It's no whatever. I'm at that age where you're hard-pressed to find couples who are better off in any situation. So whether you're talking about this girl is dealing with this guy who has issues with addiction and drugs, this guy is with this girl who's physically abusive, you start to see all the real stuff. You can't judge as much because you're like, holy crap, like, who has it perfect? Nobody does. You know, everybody might look good on Instagram, but that doesn't necessarily mean in real life that they're doing any good. And then when it comes to cheating, either you've cheated on somebody, somebody's cheated on you, or you were the person that was cheated with. I've experienced all three, and the moment I experienced all three, I stopped hating on the other two.
Yeah.
I stopped feeling sorry for myself for getting cheated on. I stopped looking at people who cheated on me as being bad, because you start to realize a lot of it has to do with fear, validation, communication. There's patterns too. You start to meet people who, like, every single person they've been with has cheated on them, or the person.
I'm sorry, but do you think if someone's like that for a while, like once a cheater, always a cheater, or, you know?
It's gonna be once a cheater, always a cheater until they figure out why they're cheating. Goes with anything. Patterns exist for a reason, and an unresolved issue is an unresolved issue. I heard a really cool description of why certain guys cheat, and it had to do with insecurity. And it was the idea that a guy thinks low of himself, so he tries to find a girl who he feels like is completely out of his league. And if he gets her, he'll feel like he's the man. Then he gets the girl, and then he's like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this girl if she got with a loser like me? I must have been wrong. So what he does is he brings her value down, and he's like, I need to find that next girl that I can't get so I can feel good about myself. And now he's stuck in a cycle. The only way he'll be able to break that cycle is if he addresses the fact that he's in. The moment he's able to, or she is able to realize that, hey, this is not about sex, this is not about love, this is not about attention or affection, it's about feeling significant, feeling like I matter. Now you can go through an entire list of other things you can do to feel significance that may not be as dangerous as cheating. But that requires communication. Again, what I realized was with the people that did it to me, or with the people that did it with me, it was simply because there was a problem and they didn't have the tools to address it, which means they didn't know how to have the conversation. And because they didn't know how to have a conversation, they were too scared to try. I think it's important that people recognize that it's a deeper root to these things, so they're not judging. Because I guarantee you, you're going to find yourself in one of these positions in your life at some point. The goal has to be communication. You have to be able to talk to somebody. And also that mindset that you brought up earlier about, well, we've been through so much together. Using your history with a person as a means to continuing to keep them around.
Yeah.
Not, you know, and I think what we have to recognize is like, yo, relationships are like seasons. Seasons end, they serve a purpose, and new seasons begin. Relationships can end, and they can have served a purpose, and now you have room for a new situation to start. That's okay. Because if you're like, all right, I'm going to stick in this situation because of our history, then you're not sticking to it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And then you might find yourself cheating.
I feel like another thing that goes with that is, especially in South Asian communities, like when people bring home their boyfriend or their girlfriend, it's like a big deal, you know? So like if you find it's not working out with them, it's like, my mom knows him, you know?
Added pressure, 100%. Now our families know each other. What are we gonna do? She hangs out with my sisters. What are we gonna do? Yeah, probably South Asian communities and more immigrant communities where we don't freely date the way, you know, other cultures do. It's a bigger deal, and bringing them home to your parents means that's it. We're just gonna start planning a wedding soon. I think it's up to us to break that stigma. My cousin, and I'm sure my nieces are gonna be watching this. Shouldn't be putting out his business, but he has such an open relationship with his daughters, where his 16-year-old daughter talks about her dating with him, and he's on her team. And just hearing that sounded so weird to me. I was just like, she was able to tell you that and you didn't punch her in the face? Because how many people can have a brown dad and tell them about the guys they like, and at 16, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's going to set her up to have healthy relationships moving forward. But yeah, the stakes get there, and then people get very comfortable. To be honest, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. There's a really good video from the School of Life where he talks about why it's important for it to be so difficult to get divorced. And he's like, because you can't just do it on an impulse. You have to think it through. I think it's still going to always go back to people knowing themselves and people being able to communicate that. Because every single relationship on this planet, whether it's romantic, whether it's work, whether it's family, is only going to be successful if priorities match. Thank you so much for watching. As always, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Click down there for one of my other videos. I make a lot of really cool videos, check them out. Click over here to listen to my music. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe. Click right here. Please share this with people that you care about and people that you don't. Much love.